Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I want to talk about my opinion on the best way to avoid buying fake silver. None of us likes to buy fake silver, so let's talk about the best way to do that. Many of you watching this video right now have probably seen a lot of devices that test silver, from the expensive Sigma verifier. Those run anywhere from $6 to upwards of probably a couple $1,000s. You also have the ping test, as well as they have the rare earth magnets. You can also weigh your silver to see if it's the exact weight that it should be. Now, all of these tests are fine, but they are still not foolproof. A lot of fake silver, whether it be American Silver Eagles or anything else that can be counterfeited. A lot of counterfeits are very, very good. The weights, a lot of times, are very accurate. And even a lot of times, the way that they make these counterfeits, it even throws off things like the Sigma verifier. All these tests are good. They're not 100% full proof. I'm not saying don't do those methods. If you have a Sigma verifier, it's a very good machine. In a lot of cases, maybe worth the price, especially if you're buying gold, maybe less so if you're just testing silver. But if you're buying, a lot of gold, then the Sigma verifier is probably an awesome machine. But if you're only buying silver, I'm not sure I would buy a Sigma verifier just for that. One way, in my opinion, to avoid buying fake silver, buying your silver in smaller denominations and smaller weights. Buying a 1 ounce silver round or silver coin or silver bar versus buying a 5 ounce, a 10 ounce, a 100 ounce. Now, it's much easier to test. It's much easier to test a 1 ounce silver round, a 1 ounce silver bar, a 1 ounce silver coin. But when you get into your larger bars, you're gonna have a much harder time to test. In fact, once you go to sell, a lot of places that will not buy a 100 ounce bar, stuff like that, because a 1,000 ounce bar, because it's much harder to test. And in order to test your larger bars, a lot of places then are going to want to drill in to make sure that what's in the center of the bar is pure, and they're going to want to test the shavings. If you have a rare bar, then you're not going to want to have that done. So that's why, in my opinion, it's better to buy, even though it's going to be more expensive per ounce to buy a 1 ounce versus buying a 1,000 ounce bar. But when you get into those larger bars, and the recognizable factor kind of goes out the window. Speaking of recognizable, another way to avoid buying fake silver is to stick with what is recognizable, highly recognizable silver. Know your silver. That's the best way, in my opinion, to not buy fake silver, to avoid buying fake silver, is to know what your silver is supposed to look like. When you buy generic rounds and bars, they all look different. It's hard to do that. So that's when you get into where you have to test. You're going to have to test, and especially when you get into, like I said, your larger bars, then the test factor gets harder. And then when you get into your heavier weight bars, then that's when you have to actually drill into them and test the shavings to make sure that you are buying pure silver, and to make sure that there's not copper core or something like that. So that's why when I buy silver, I like to stick with what is recognizable. Speaking of highly recognizable silver and knowing what you buy, you always want to be familiar with, whether it's silver or gold, you want to know what your silver is supposed to look like. Speaking of what it's supposed to look like, that is when this stuff becomes really handy, and that is the constitutional silver. When you're talking about, whether you call it junk silver or constitutional silver, this stuff here, while It's possible that you're going to get fake silver dimes and silver quarters and silver half dollars. When we're talking about common dates, it's very unlikely that you're going to run into a fake Roosevelt dime or a fake Washington quarter unless you're getting into highly numismatic, highly collectible, rare date type items like that. You know, your more common Morgan silver dollars or your more common peace dollars, you're probably not even going to find too many fakes of these unless you're talking about the more rare specimens of these type of coins. The likelihood of somebody counterfeiting this is not very cost effective. But if you are talking about a 100-ounce bar, a 1,000-ounce bar, there's a better chance that you are going to run into something that is not genuine. And then that's when you're going to really want to have those testers. You want to have a testing method. You want to have that Sigma machine, or the better way to test a 100-ounce bar or a 1,000-ounce bar is to really drill into it and to test the shavings that are in the very center of that bar to make sure the core of that bar is genuine. But this here, almost 1,000% of the time, this here is not going to be fake. And not only that, you can also find these in your pocket change. You can find these while coin roll hunting, and you don't even have to pay the premium to get this coin. So that is the best way, in my opinion, to avoid buying fake silver. A testing method is good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that these testing methods are not foolproof. So the best ways to do it is to know what you're buying, to know what you're looking at, to be familiar with the coins and everything that you're purchasing. But when you get into the generic stuff, most people are not 100% familiar with that, including if you had to go sell to somebody. You know, a lot of people may not always want to buy it because they're not familiar with it. That's why I like to buy stuff that's highly recognizable, stuff that I'm familiar with. That way it's less likely that I'm going to buy something that's counterfeit, while at the same time also watching the premiums. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I appreciate everybody for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll talk to everybody on my next video. Thanks a lot, everyone.